This is a presentation of NorthEast Streaming Sports.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry for the break in the voice. This is Keith Engel. You're watching Started Up here on NorthEast Streaming Sports, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Mac McGrath, and Jamie Paggs, the Philly sports guy. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Well, good morning, Keith.
How's everybody this morning? It's Friday. Oh. Wait
Is it? Is it? You sure?
Damn it. I keep trying. It never works. I want a week of Fridays.
Yes.
Anyway, full slate of baseball yesterday. I know we have a Joey Gallo update that I might enjoy this week. I actually peeked at the line, but I won't steal Paggs' thunder. We got some NFL, big NFL news. Lots of cuts yesterday. We'll probably go through that in depth. And actually tennis from the U.S. Open. Little WNBA news, and see what else comes up during the course of the morning here as we go forward. So, guys, let's jump into yesterday's Major League Baseball action. The Yankees break a 3-game slide and beat the Angels 7-4 yesterday. Judge hits his 51st home run, only 10 away from Roger Maris and the Yankee and still American League record, at least. And in many people's minds, like some people here, he's still the real record, 61 home runs. We'll see. He's got a pretty good shot at this if he gets pitched to. Benintendi goes deep in this game as well. He's played very, very well over the last couple of weeks after a slow start in New York. And if the Yankees are going to do anything in a postseason, he will be a big part of it because he is the anti-Joey Gallo, or was positioned as such. So we'll see how he does. Big win for the Yankees, though, if you can get a big win over the Angels. This time of year, they're all big. They maintain their 7-game lead over the Rays, in the American League East. The Orioles starting to struggle just a little bit, fall to 3 games behind in a wild card with a 5-1 loss to the Guardians. Cal Quantrill and 3 relievers combined on a 1-hitter here. His 11th win. He's quietly had a very nice year for the Guardians as they continue to lead the Central by a slim 1.5 lead over the Twins. And elsewhere, the Reds beat the Cardinals yesterday 5-1. Former Cardinal catcher Austin Romine hits a home run to help beat his old team yesterday as they tagged up Dakota Hudson in this game for the Cardinals. And the Cardinals still 6 games up, though, over the Brewers and looking good in that Central Division of the National League. The Marlins and the Rays teed off yesterday. The Rays beat them 7-2. I made a little note here. Sirius, who I think that's Siri. Is that how you say his name? Siri, right? He was one of their big acquisitions at the trade deadline to be their center fielder, not just this year, but in the future. Has struggled a little bit, but he did go 3 for 4 yesterday with a home run, his 5th home run. He's hitting only 208, but he has shown some power, played some good center field for the Rays, and he'll be a big part of that retooling that they seem to do every single year there in Tampa. Where else? If you guys have anything, certainly jump in. The A's 10, the Nationals 6. This would have been the I'll pay you to go to the game. One of the I'll pay you to go to the game matchups yesterday. I don't think I even took away anything of note necessarily from this game. Oh, yes, I did. Sean Murphy, their best player, and a player who's probably the most likely to be the next A to leave the organization probably in the offseason. He went 3 for 5 yesterday with a home run and 5 RBI. So a nice game for him. He's had a very nice year for the A's and probably their best player at the moment. The Cubs and Blue Jays faced off, 5-3 victory for the Blue Jays here. Kevin Gausman gets his 10th win. A lot of people have looked at him as a kind of a disappointment as they picked him up from the Giants in the offseason where he had a great season last year. But he's pitching to a 3.14 ERA. He's pitched well. The team hasn't necessarily played great behind him. He'll be an important part of their push through September and hopefully into the playoffs if you're a Blue Jays fan. The Dodgers and Mets, and maybe the game of the night and a playoff preview. The Dodgers get off to a good start here in Shea. Oh, sorry, not in Shea. What? I just had a little time capsule trip there in Citi Field. 4-3, they win this game. This is an important series, I thought, for the Mets, and this is not a good start to the series for them. So I think they need to show that they can play against the better teams here. They played well against the Braves, but I don't know if they played so well against the Dodgers and some of the other powers in the National League. The Mariners beat the Tigers 9-3 yesterday behind Kirby, and Ty France had a nice game in this one as well, going 3 for 4 with a homer and a couple RBIs to lead the Mariners to this victory.
Since he skipped right over it, Joey Gallo went 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, but he did get an RBI being hit by a pitch.
I will have to point out this point, he is hitting 196 as a Dodger. So he's not actually lightening up. His peripherals are good. You know, his OPS is way up. It was down in the low 600s with the Yankees. He's over 800 here, but he's had some games, but he's not. Joey Gallo's never going to hit 250 anyway. So
yeah. Well, he was hitting 300 as a Dodger for a while, and now it's he's had an 0 for streak.
Well, he's only got 40 some at bats, so this last few games that he's been on has really plummeted that average, I'm sure. So
correct.
I didn't mean to skip over that. Sorry about that, Pags. I know that's
okay. I figured you were all excited about it initially. I was going to bring it up.
I was excited because I noticed it wasn't as good as it is some days. Anyway, congratulations. Jesus.
Wow. Easy.
There goes my coffee all over my desk. Hold on. Time out. You guys pick it up for me here. Somebody pick it up for me.
All right. So we'll keep going. Where were we with
Get back.
We were at the Rays and the Marlins. Did that one go?
You can Rays and Marlins we did. I left off at the Rockies and Braves.
Rockies and Braves. Oh, the Braves lost 3-2. Thank you to the Rockies because of course. I'll get to them in a minute. The Red Sox lose 10-5 to the Twins, who are playing pretty well at the moment. The Twins, I think, what are they on, a 5-game winning streak?
5-game winning streak, yes.
Look at that. That's me guessing that type of stuff. Uh-oh. He's down. Down goes crazy. Houston for the Texas Rangers, too. So Houston keeps their lead in the AL, the number 1 spot. The Pirates beat the Milwaukee Brewers 4-2. Thank you to the Pirates because, again, the Phillies were not doing so hot this week. The Royals 9, Chicago White Sox 7. Yeah, Chicago. We were talking about how the White Sox were real close. I think they're not real close anymore. And I think that's just about done for them. Obviously, we went. The Yankees beat the Angels, and break the losing streak that they were on. They win 7-4. The Padres beat the Giants 4-3, and finally, the Phillies get spanked by the Arizona Diamondbacks. They lose 12-3. Zach Gallen.
Is it the bats, Pags, or is the pitching that's really falling now?
You know what? Right here in Arizona, I think first off they have a hard time playing in Arizona. I think going back to 2017, I think they've only won 3 games in its entirety, and they are 0 for their last 7 in total in Arizona. And I think that in this case here, it's just a matter of tired. Yeah. They've played a lot of games in a row. It comes out to be so far they've played 15 games in 14 days, and
when you're tonight, when you're tired and the heat hits you, that's hard to deal with.
Right. So I think that this is, I know that Phillies fans are going to start going a little nuts. Oh, we can't seem to beat Arizona. How are we going to go to the playoffs? And, I think that this is just a snafu in the schedule right now where they got, beat up specifically having all those games in a row.
Right.
So, and that let's since we got through all the scores, let's see what all the news was in Major League Baseball, if there was anything worthwhile to talk about. The Dodgers are the first team to hit number 90, 90 wins. They are 8 games above the Mets for the number 1 spot in the National League. Hey, welcome back.
Sorry, guys. Good grief. I don't know what I blurted out there, but I apologize. Jeez. Oh, my God. What a mess I just made.
I mean, you pulled the McDonald's with the hot coffee in the lap, right?
Yep. He didn't even hear.
Well, he's muted. Did you mute yourself, Keith? Good.
There he goes. Are you there?
I got nothing now.
Nah, we hear you. All right. Well, anyways, let's keep going while he's working all that stuff out.
It's still not. You're still not up.
We don't hear you now. No microphone. And as he mentioned earlier, Aaron Judge hits his 51st home run of the year. And the reason why they continue to pitch to him is because nobody else is hitting on the Yankees right now. So you continue to pitch to him while he can only hit solo home runs.
I agree, Pags.
McClanahan had shoulder surgery and is optimistic. He's going to miss just a small amount of starts, but should be back.
Right.
More information or more about the unionization of the minor league teams and what that could mean for baseball as a whole. They're talking about a number of different things. I didn't read the whole story, but they're really looking to push salaries up a good amount. They want more of that money to trickle down from the owners in the major leagues to go down there to get everybody up. He's out again.
They were talking about that with the college football too, right, Pags? I mean, they wanted to unionize that. I don't know. I think they did, and so it's the unions are just you can't stop.
Right. Well, they did not unionize. The way that they were able to combat that was the NIL. That's why.
Okay.
That's why the NIL really was able to come into fruition. So not to unionize college sports.
Okay.
Where am I now?
There we are. Welcome back.
God, put this in a blooper reel. My God. Again, I don't know if you can hear me, but whatever I blurted out when my coffee went all over my console here, I apologize.
We didn't hear anything because everything went dead.
I heard Matt go, "Oh my God, Keith," when I blurted out whatever I blurted out.
We heard the coffee spill.
Oh, is that what you heard?
You could definitely hear the coffee spill. We knew that
right
it was.
Near the mic. Oh God, it was awful.
So we left off with Judge hitting his 51st home run, and the reason why that they continue to pitch to him is because solo home runs are not going to win games.
Good point. And the Yankees need men on base, so he's kind of in between a rock and a hard place here. So, but I still think he might get this done here in September. We'll see. It'll be a fun. You know what? It'll be something fun to watch for September for sure.
Yeah.
Did we touch on Tony La Russa's unexplained absence?
Nope.
Yeah, one of the a couple of notes in Major League Baseball that I picked on. La Russa had an undisclosed medical condition yesterday. I don't want to speculate what might have happened, but we should probably police blogs.
Let's speculate, Keith.
Maybe we should check the police blogs at the same time.
Yes,
because Tony might have had a rough night on the town. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so actually, he went to that day's interview.
Oh.
So he was talking before the game, and then, it was announced. His absence was announced an hour before the first pitch.
Well,
and he showed no signs of health issues during his pregame session with reporters. So maybe he
Well,
started drinking a little early, got a day load on.
Could have been a day drinking thing. Yes. He could be getting ready for his next career, which won't be managing the Chicago White Sox next year, would be my guess.
no, he'll be in charge of the local bar.
Yeah. Speaking of late scratches yesterday, Tampa Bay All-Star left-hander Shane McClanahan was a late scratch yesterday. Not good news if he had some left shoulder impingement, they called it. If he's damaged a bit, that'll hurt the Rays here in this playoff chase and in the playoffs. Obviously, he's pitched very, very well here and emerges one of the top pitchers in the league this year. As we continue some baseball news, I don't know if you guys covered too much of it.
Nope.
Tatis, his surgery is now postponed. So Tatis, the Fernando Tatis Jr. saga continues. As we all know about his ringworm incident, the steroid suspension, the shoulder injury that came somewhere in here, which now the surgery for that shoulder has been postponed because he now has strep throat. So I hope he's being very careful what he takes for the strep throat.
God.
I mean,
Why? He's already suspended. He might as well go ahead and keep doing the steroids now for another 45 days while he's not
maybe
getting
that's
tested.
that's probably true. I wonder if do they test these guys while they're suspended? I would hope so. Right? You
Does it
can't have a
matter?
downtime.
Yeah, actually, I don't think that they're allowed to.
Oh, they're not allowed to. That's a loophole there in the system as well. So if I'm suspended 80 games, I can just do steroids until it won't be detected anymore.
Well, yeah, actually, but steroids remain in your system for a little while. It's not as bad as marijuana, but it's still you have to cycle out of that, and that takes a couple of weeks.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I see. Well, again, more of the Tatis saga, and that will be continued. In the Yankee game yesterday, I didn't mention that James Taillon had left early in this game. I think in the fourth inning, he got hit on a line with a line drive on the arm. Yankees certainly don't need any more bad pitching news, so we'll see what that turns out to be today. Kershaw set to return on Thursday to face the Mets. Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers. Been out a bit. He's had a pretty good season this season. We kind of know what his playoff history is, so maybe resting up to the playoffs wouldn't be a bad thing for Clayton Kershaw. Jason Verlander goes on Justin Verlander, goes on a 15-day IL with a calf injury. Again, precautionary. There's no reason for the Astros to throw him out here every fifth day before the playoffs get started.
And can you ever remember so many, injuries like this that really it's not contact, and they're falling.
Yeah, some of them, I'm taking some of these injuries with a grain of salt, like Cortez with the Yankees. Some of it could be, and I don't want to say they're not hurt, but some of it could be a bit contrived, I think, to give these guys a little blow as they reach a certain innings limit, right? It's not hard to find in a Major League Baseball player, right? They have some injuries that they set out with that players would play an entire career with, but NFL players would. So I don't know. There are a lot of injuries right now, yes. I mean, you get hit on the arm, I get it, but as you said, non-contact in football even, Mac, a lot of injuries for sure.
Yeah.
Could be part of the training, who knows? Do I have anything else? I don't think I have anything else necessarily in Major League Baseball. Did you talk about your Phillies a little bit, I'm sure, while I was gone?
Yeah, that they stink right now.
Okay.
Well, actually, I'm blaming it all on being tired as they've going.
Yeah.
Tonight will be the 15th game in 14 days. So it's they needed a day off, I think, and the fact that they have not won, they've won but 3 games in Arizona since 2017, just shows a pattern of playing poorly in the state of Arizona.
Have you guys ever saw the locusts that come out of the ground? They're like rocks. I'm out there in left field. One hits me in the head and almost knocked me right out. It's crazy. That and the wind. The wind is but
in Arizona?
New Mexico.
Oh, New Mexico.
Yeah, right next door.
Yeah. Those Diamondbacks are on a little bit of a run too. 5 in a row, 6 out of 7. They're only 6 games under 500. They played pretty good baseball, and they've moved into a tie with the Giants for the 5th spot, I guess, in that wild card range, which is quite a ways back. I think it's 9.5 out, but they played some pretty good baseball. And that whole National League East is losing right now. By the way, the Phillies, the Mets, and the Braves all on at least 2-game losing streaks. The Braves and the Phillies on 3-game losing streaks. Nobody's winning there. The entire division's on a losing streak right now because we got to count the Nationals as part of the league still. Until further notice.
But it seems like everybody else is losing too. So including, the Padres are playing against the Giants, so they're winning, but everybody else is losing.
Yeah, 2 games in a row for them. I don't get excited. You know, when you run off, maybe 9-1, and maybe I think you got something going there in San Diego. Until then, not so much. Bats are quiet too. That's the thing.
I would much rather watch them get the number 2 wild card. If I was to get to place myself, if I was the Phillies, I do not want to I would not want to face the Braves in the short series. I would much rather face the Cardinals, who are playing pretty well right now, but I think that they are peaking a little early, and there could be some opportunity starting in the beginning of October.
So that would mean you'd want to position yourself for the 3rd wild card, right?
That is correct.
Right.
That would be where I would like to be. But again, I am not the coach. I guess you can't play to lose.
No. I mean, if you get to that last day and you're in and you can play some games there, but maybe
right, you give everybody a day off, and you get you bring up some of the schlubs from Lakewood, single A.
Well, it's not hard to get away with.
As I am, just making fun, really. But
no, but teams in those last couple of days, if they've got positions locked up, they aren't necessarily worried about winning a couple more games, or maybe positioning in that wild card as they want to get their pitching lined up for that coming series too. So
and getting the guys rest that need some rest so that they can come back ready to go into a series. So obviously, when you have a 3-game series for the wild card, that's very important.
The Phillies, for instance, I would think, I'll ask you this, Pegs. I would think it's more important, and I think home field is very important, but I would think it's more important for them to have Nola and Wheeler ready to pitch one in the first 2 games of that wild card series than to have home field advantage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's no way of getting home field advantage without taking over the Braves, which is 7 games above us. So why bother even trying? At that point, it's just
that's a good point. In the American League, it's going to be something that's down to the wire because they're all very close. The top 4 teams there are very close. So in the National League, not so much. It's either going to be the Braves or the Mets with the first wild card for sure, and the home field. So that's it for Major League Baseball. I think we'll take a quick break because we're going to have a lot of NFL when we get to it. So won't be able to take a break there. We'll take a quick timeout right here. And I'll try to situate myself again a little better, and we'll be right back after this.
You can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboys fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew.
You can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboys fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready. I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, I'm from Brooklyn. Hey, get us any.
This is a presentation of NorthEast Streaming Sports.
Welcome back, everybody. I just want to hear Mac tell me twice about the team he hates so much.
Jeffco loves that. Jeffco loves that cut.
I thought it was the coffee jitters.
It was kind of because I was wiping up a puddle and hit my keyboard and it restarted the video. So
There you go.
There you go. Excuse me.
The video, all the keyboards are different, and each one has a little something special it does. And the one I hit restarted that video, so I have no idea how that happened. So anyway, been an interesting first 25 minutes of the show. I appreciate you guys picking up as I tried to avoid everything shorting out on me, covered in coffee.
Right.
So never a good thing to happen. Is it Monday? I should have never started with the whole Friday thing. I think that's the problem. So. Let's move on to the NFL. Lots of news with a cut down day yesterday and some other stories. And Pags, I'm going to let you lead us through that.
So I'm going to start off before we go into cuts.
Yep.
John Gruden makes it in the news saying that he is ashamed of what has happened with the whole email situation. And hopes that he does get another shot. He's like, he's listening. That my life kind of speaks for itself. That I've never been in trouble. You got a wife of 31 years and blah blah blah.
I'm a good person, all that.
So obviously Mac is a big proponent of John Gruden coming back. I can tell just by that vote of confidence.
I think it's possible Gruden gets another shot myself.
I agree.
Probably not until when the full transcripts of this whole thing comes out, which we've only seen bits and pieces, and what he said in whatever context doesn't matter. It wasn't good. These are things people sometimes can come back from. We'll see. He's an NFL football coach, right? He's not running for president of the United States. So I think he might get another shot. We'll see when the full transcripts are out.
I'm not sure which one is more important, Keith, right? The president of the United States?
Well, that's a good point.
Right. I think if he was running for president, they probably would have, he'd already be back in.
Yes. Yeah. Probably vote for him too, but that's a different story.
And sticking with the Raiders, obviously they had to cut down to 53. The biggest of the cuts was last year's first round pick, Alex Leatherwood, who is cut unceremoniously from this team. They did try to trade him, but nobody wanted him. He winds up being cut. And here are what's happened with all of the first-round picks since 2019. Alex Leatherwood, cut. Henry Ruggs, cut. Damon Arnett, cut. Clennon Farrell, his fifth-year option was declined. Josh Jacobs, his fifth-year option was declined. Jonathan Abram, his fifth-year option was declined. So out of the last 6 first-round picks that the Raiders have had, they are not going to have anybody on the team as of next year.
I think the scouting department should be cut also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see that. I thought that Mike Mayock actually did pretty well there and that he was one of the strengths of the Raiders, but I guess not.
No, he was better off doing Notre Dame football, I think. His forte is not running an NFL front office for sure.
Yeah.
So not many trades yesterday, but a fairly large one that came through in Philadelphia was that the Eagles have acquired defensive back and safety CJ Gardner-Johnson for a 5th round in 2023 and the lower of 2 6th-round picks in 2024.
And he was from the Saints, right, Pax? That's where he comes from.
That is correct. So it's he's 24 years old. He's got a little bit of fire. The Eagles are continuing to strengthen their coffers here on defense. And even as wide receiver, Dallas Cowboys ex-wide receiver Michael Irvin so chagriningly mentioned on one of his shows yesterday that it looks like they are really close to a dynasty. Michael Irvin, which I thought was hysterical. I love hearing that from him.
To be a dynasty, don't you got to like win a bunch of Super
One.
Bowls in a row? Or at least
That's what he said. He says they don't know. The two question marks that would hold them back from starting a dynasty is whether the coach is the coach that can do a dynasty and whether the quarterback is the right person to control the dynasty. So,
And actually winning some playoff games, I think, would contribute to a dynasty as well.
yeah, but I mean, realistically, if you take the last 5 years into consideration, they have won some playoff games. So.
Well, I'm talking about this particular iteration of the Eagles. That's all. Yes,
yeah, that is correct.
Success. Yes.
Yeah, and also another familiar face for you that just joined the Eagles. Since we're talking about the Eagles, real quick, Sony Michel is now on the 53-man roster as he picked up as the fourth running back option for the Eagles.
Interesting pickup. Sony's a decent player. He contributed to the Rams quite a bit during the regular season last year when Akers went down, and I think he's still got something left in the tank. He may be able to provide some, depth there, if nothing else.
Well, and they look at him as the north-south runner.
Yeah.
Which I thought he was much smaller than that. I didn't realize that he actually had some stockiness to him. But
yeah, he's not he's kind of he's not big, right? But he is stocky, I guess is the right word. He's put on some weight the last couple of years. If he stays healthy, he can be a productive player for sure.
Yeah, he's sort of like Joe Morris was, right? Built a little fire.
Yeah, he's kind of built like Joe Morris. That's a good comparison, I think. A little taller. But.
Oh, and obviously there were a lot of cuts that went down the line yesterday. A couple of notables that I remember seeing. That a lot of these are going to be tough because there were so many cuts on so many different teams. That Josh Gordon cut by the Chiefs. He was one of the notable ones. Obviously, he just can't play the same when he's not smoking pot.
You're talking about giving guys chances. How many chances has he had? I mean,
eight chances. I think that's like literally the number. I think he's had 8 chances. Right. And unfortunately, the problem is that when he's sober, he doesn't play. He doesn't play well.
Yeah.
He needs to. He's one of those guys that definitely plays better stoned.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because I know kind of how that, not personally, but I know how that whole idea works, and the fact that he's able to. The problem is, and this goes all the way back to like college and high school and such like that. If you are in a specific mind-altered state when you are studying, you have to be in that mind-altered state when you're taking the test. Because if you're sober or that you don't remember the things that you learned when you were studying, when you were stoned or drunk or whatever. So I think that runs into that same situation.
Yeah, and Jack's man too, Josh Rosen, right? He was cut too.
He got cut yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, remember the draft where he got all upset and all mean and mad because he wasn't taken, and oh my God, what a baby.
Maybe you can go back to Texas A&M. They need a quarterback still. Maybe you can go back. Maybe he's got a year of eligibility left or something.
Could be.
Yep, and Josh Rosen was cut from the Cleveland Browns. Obviously, they don't need him since they are so fully stocked there for at least this first 6 games or so, or 8 games. Was it 8 games that he wound up getting suspended for?
11.
Wow. 11. Wow. Yeah, so I mean, obviously, to not make that team. However, that doesn't mean that he's out of the league just yet, because I mean, even in Philadelphia right now, we do not have a third string quarterback.
Dallas doesn't have a second string quarterback, I don't think, right now. They cut all their quarterbacks except for
Dak Prescott, who was breaking news yesterday that Jerry Jones said that he's never seen Dak in better shape than he is this year.
Excellent.
That was breaking news on ESPN.
And
really, that's breaking news.
According to Pags, it's better than their first string quarterback, right, Pags?
Possibly. you'll see some of these guys get picked up. I don't know about Rosen.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I mean, he was what, a first-round pick 6 years ago.
He was a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure that somebody will need a clipboard holder somewhere,
Right.
and that's probably somewhere he's going to fit in just nicely.
Maybe he'll take Corey's place, Keith. You never know.
Jack says he's irreplaceable. So
Yes. Yeah, he is.
Maybe you guys could help if you knew of other names that were worthwhile to mention.
Well, I was just kind of going through the teams and looking for a couple of names. As I said, the Cowboys cut both their backup quarterbacks, Cooper Rush and Will Greer, yesterday, so they'll be looking for some help there. One of them
really. Hold on. Say that again. They didn't cut all their quarterbacks then.
They cut Cooper Rush, Will Greer, and Ben DiNucci.
They did cut DiNucci.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sorry.
I was like, because you only mentioned 2, I'm like, how about that?
Sorry. Yeah, he was down in a different part of this list, but yes, he did get cut as well. As I looked through the Giants, their biggest cut was I don't know if I can say they cut anybody that was really of any interest to anybody.
I don't think anybody really plays on that team right now is the problem.
No.
I mean, some surprising, like the Raiders. The Raiders are the team that has the most names that have been cut that I recognize out of the, Kenyon Drake, Demarcus Robinson, Tyrone Wheatley Jr. I mean, Alex Leatherwood, obviously, we already mentioned before. Myron Tagliavoa Amosa, but I only recognize that one name. So obviously he's married into that. And Cravon LeBlanc, who was an Eagle. But I mean, those are some notable names that get cut. I tell you, the Raiders have an all-star to cut those guys, all of those guys. But
yeah. Me and my wife were going through the list too, and there's some that we didn't really know, but there was some really big names out there that we were really surprised about.
There's Kellen Mond gets cut by the Vikings, another backup quarterback. He'll probably find a job somewhere as well. Where else we got here?
One of the bigger surprises for me for the Eagles was Devin Allen getting cut. That guy, he was a burner. I'm sure they're going to try to get him onto the practice squad, and maybe he didn't show enough to be able to stay, but I thought he was absolutely going to make it for special teams since he had that type of speed. You can't teach speed. Speed is one of those things that just comes in. So hopefully he gets put over there and he does not get picked up. Also, he came in late to camp, so this is probably the reason why, but he'll wind up on the practice squad as well. Tight end Richard Rodgers, who is been in the league for about 150 years and has been a very serviceable tight end. I think he's got the second best hands on the Eagles as a tight end. But unfortunately, it came in late to camp and winds up getting cut. So he may wind up on the practice squad as well.
You guys think maybe it's because of the personal camps they go to with their friends too, where, they get caught up and doing those drills? And I mean, I remember Byron Williams was working out with, I think it might have even been Jerry Rice, and he didn't report, and to work out with Sims and Parcells. He knew he was going to cut him. I mean, Byron knew.
Possible.
Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah, I have to imagine that there is some backdoor stuff that happens here. That there's sometimes you've done enough to make the team, but because of the politics of that team specific, you don't.
Right.
I was looking at the Patriots cut, their most significant cut, so it wasn't a huge move, was veteran Justin Bethel becomes a numbers move. They had to get rid of him. Also, they cut Kevin Harris. He's caught up in a logjam at running back. He had a good preseason game the last game. I think that was to showcase him a bit. And one of their recent draft picks, Tristan Vizcaino, gets cut. So Nick Folk will continue to be the kicker there. So nothing major out of the Patriots either. The Jets did have a couple of significant moves, I should say. Their most significant non-move was they kept Denzel Mims, who wants out of town, and they're holding out hope they can trade him before the season starts. Still, they cut Tavon Coleman yesterday, running back. I thought I saw one other name that kind of struck my. I guess not. Guess that's it for them. But again, some significant moves throughout the league with some big names, as you said. Trayvon Henderson cut safety for the Bengals. A lot of injured reserve moves yesterday, too. Somehow, who's my favorite wide receiver for the Bears and now he came from the Patriots? N'Keal Harry somehow survives camp because he gets put on the injured list. So if he survives camp, I think he would have got cut otherwise. We talked about them. How about the Steelers? What'd they do? Nothing too much there either. So interesting with all the names. The bigger names maybe were moved earlier in camp because there weren't a lot of as many names as you would think on this cut down day. And a lot of these guys, by the way, are going to get re-signed either by the teams they got cut by or to their to their practice squads or by other teams.
That's an outro right there. I'm just looking at one of the names that struck me because he was an Eagle and was a great Eagle for a whole 3-4 games. This Fulgham has been cut by 2 separate teams. His name is twice for both the Green Bay Packers and the Denver Broncos. So he was cut from 2 squads yesterday. Unfortunately, Travis Fulgham didn't make either one of those 53-man rosters.
That's pretty impressive just in itself, getting cut by 2 teams the same day. Was he in training camp for 2 teams? He must be.
I don't know how that all worked, but the fact that I got to imagine that our lists probably go down. He may have been cut from an original, the original 83 or 90-man roster, and they added that name onto that list, and then he went to a second list because. I mean, these lists are so long, it's hard to see really who, where, and when they got cut.
It's interesting because I think they go longer. They must go longer with not have to get down to certain roster limits like they used to have to do because I don't remember there being this many names cut on the final cut down. So I think they've eliminated part. It used to be on a certain day you had to be this many, certain day you had to be this many. I don't think they've got those designations anymore.
Well, they do. It was August 16th. It had to be cut down from 90 to 85.
Right.
On the 23rd, it was down to 80, and then the 30th was down. So week, 5, whole bunch.
Yeah, I think there used to be more significant number of cuts in those earlier deadlines, I think is what I was getting at. Yeah. 5 guys, not a lot, right? Going from 90 to 85, right?
Correct.
I think that first one was where a whole bunch of guys would go.
Correct. They would go from like 90 to 65.
Yeah.
But now since they're holding 16 players on practice squads rather than 5 or 3. That was the other part of that. So now that they're holding all these people on practice squads. And I would love to be on a practice squad and make $11,700 a week. They can hit me all they want.
Right.
That's a pretty nice chunk of change, that's for sure.
That is correct.
Yep.
Put me in, coach. I don't need to play.
I thought Kyle Shanahan's reaction to Jimmy G staying in San Francisco was interesting because he was basically shocked by the fact that they were staying. He talked about something like, to me, the chances were slim to none. That's got to give Jimmy G great confidence going back into San Francisco.
But he said it was a slim to none for this win-win situation.
Yeah.
I think that I'm telling you, this is a move. This is a move that is going to be looked at as they do not trust Trey Lance.
Yeah, I agree.
And they use, how many first round draft choices to get this man?
They moved a a lot to get up to number what was it, number 2, right? They took him.
Yeah.
Their season hinges on the quarterback position, as many teams do, obviously, but I don't see this team repeating what they did last year. What were they, 10-7 and get to the NFC Championship game? I don't think it's going to happen this year.
Yeah, were they 10? No, they were 9-8.
Were they 9? I thought they were 10-7. Okay.
No, they were 9-8. They actually got in, and they wound up. Their 9-8 was better than our 9-8 because of head-to-head. But when we won our 9th game, we lost the last game of the season. But when we won our 9th game, we were in the playoffs, and they were not. So by winning their 9th game and us losing the last week, they jumped us because of head-to-head record.
And it was good for you too, Pags. That was a good thing because you guys again cheated, putting your 3rd-string quarterback in against us, and I'm glad of it.
That was a couple of years ago, and still crying. All the Giants fans are still crying about it. I ran out of tissues a year ago.
Yeah. They did finish 10-7 last year, by the way. They beat the Rams in the last game. They had to win it to get in the playoffs. I do know that.
Oh yeah, because the Saints also.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's weird how that would have worked because the Eagles won, only had 9 wins, obviously.
Yeah.
And how the 49ers beat them head to head. Wouldn't have made it to playoffs had they only won 9 games, which is funny.
Well, because once you run into a 3-way tie, it's different tiebreakers than if you have a 2-way tie. So that's probably what happened there. I think it's common opponents might be the first thing they look at in a 3-way tie. So
and I know because of the Saints, we wound up beating the Saints, which would have put us above them, and maybe that held more weight because of the point spread that we beat them by.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
Again, you get a whole new case of metrics in when you get more than one team involved in a tiebreaker. So
yeah, and who likes metrics? Them damn Europeans.
We love metrics.
Okay, get out the apple.
Yesterday it began. Deshaun Watson is no longer with the Browns as he begins his 11-game suspension.
I didn't hear that, Pax. Wow, that's unbelievable.
So
yeah, he's listen. We talked about the guys on steroids out on suspension. What do we got to be careful of Deshaun Watson getting in trouble for the next 3 months for crying out loud?
Yeah, it's almost a guarantee there.
That's a lot of free time for a guy who likes massages. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it does. Oh man.
Hopefully, he can change his name to have these people come in, and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna wear this mask while we're doing this."
You might as well.
However he wants to do it.
Yeah, you might as well. Know it.
You know what? And this whole thing, the one picture that really signifies exactly how people in Cleveland feel was the father and son holding up those pictures that everybody saw.
Oh man!
Did you see? I'm sure you saw the picture.
Yeah.
We can't repeat what the picture said, but how is it that you have your son involved in a picture like that, who is like under 10 years old?
People just are crazy, Pags. I mean, they just put their kids in these positions all the time, and what do you do? You call services? What do you do?
That's about all you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, you can't. And child services are not going to come out because somebody's holding up a sign.
No.
Yeah.
No. Just that's the fact that this kid is getting his 15 minutes of fame for something that his father did might be a little embarrassing. But it really in Cleveland, he could be looked at as a folk hero. Who knows? Who knows how they think about it around everywhere else? I can't imagine that women are feeling really excited about that. I assume that this guy is probably married, and his wife is like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Good point. Let's throw a little. Let's throw a couple of scores from the U.S. Open out there. Rafael Nadal played yesterday, the number 2 seed, coming back after having to retire at Wimbledon. I think in the semifinals, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, but I think it was the semifinals. He had an abdominal tear during that match. He came back and won his first round match in 4 sets. What he said was that the wait was interminable, and he's glad to be back on the court. He wasn't sure what to expect. The number 3 seed, Carlos Alcaraz, moved into the second round when his opponent was forced to stop because of an injury in the third set. He led Sebastian Baez 7-5, 7-5, 2-0 when he had to retire. The number 9 seed, Audrey Rublev, she moves into the second round by outlasting Lacio Diger in 5 sets yesterday in a match that took 3 hours and 41 minutes. Other seeds advancing yesterday were 2014 champion Marin Cilic, number 7, Cameron Norrie, number 8, Hubert. I love these names. Hurkacz, number 11, Yannick Sinner, number 14, Diego Schwartzman, 17, Diego Dimitrov, number 19, Dennis Shapova, and Daniel Snyder, number 28. I won't go any deeper than that on the men's side. And what about in the I think we had some things on the women's side yesterday as well.
Coco.
Well, I'm looking for Coco yet. That wasn't my biggest story. Hang on a second here. It was somewhere. I guess I lost my story. Where's Coco? Let's find Coco. I got to go through the stores here to find her. Anything? I know you had some matches you had found yesterday that I didn't. Pags, anything significant you find in these?
Last year's female 2021 U.S. Open champion, Emma Raducanu or whatever they call it, however they say her name, lost. So after having a press conference saying that I think defending a title is just something that the press makes up, she went out and lost to Elise Cornet 6-3, 6-3 in the first round. So Elise Cornet is actually she's ranked 40th. Has never really been a big deal. However, she is playing in her record-setting 63rd consecutive Grand Slam event. So that's what she owns as the 40th ranked player. She has beaten players that were ranked in the top 20, and she now has defending champions to add to that list of beating Raducanu.
And Mac, your Coco Gauff update. She's the number 12 seed here, by the way. She will play today against unseeded or unranked Elena Gabrielle Ruse today.
Okay.
At 2:00 if you want to try to find the match somewhere.
I don't think my wife will. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Hey, and
so
Venus was in the mix here. She definitely had a match. Who turned 42? She turned 42 in June, and she didn't do so hot. Lost 6-1, 7-6.
Yeah.
In 2 sets, but 42 years old. I'm glad that she got out there and still trying to make it happen.
Yeah, she didn't look to be in great shape to go far in this tournament. We'll see. I mean, they made a big deal. I don't know if you guys saw it after the match. They made a big deal. They gave her some presentations and whatnot. So it would kind of say to me they don't know when she's going to go out in this tournament. They aren't expecting her to get too far along. Unless they're planning these little celebrations after every win that she has in this tournament.
Well, yeah, but she lost.
What's that?
She lost.
No, I thought she won, Venus.
No, it says that she lost. But, I mean, maybe I'm seeing that. She lost 6-3, 6-2 is what I saw. Or 6-3, 7-5 or 6-2, 7-5.
I'm not going to...
Yeah, Venus Williams still winless in 22.
She bows out. My bad.
After falling in first round of U.S. Open.
Oh, I'm talking about Serena. My bad. I said Venus. I'm talking about her sister Serena. My bad.
Serena did advance. Serena did win.
Already retired.
So I guess she comes back. So she's normally, I mean, they are actually pretty good at the doubles tournaments.
Yeah, I do know that. Yeah.
You know, when you don't have as much space for her to cover, they actually do play very well, both the Williams sisters. and they both have numerous doubles championships.
Oh, they may hold records there too, I think, to be honest with you. So
I could believe that.
yeah. So Serena did get by in the first round. She's the one they had this big post-game, most post-match celebration for, led by Gail King from CBS, who I still don't know how has a job on TV, but that's just another story.
That's an Oprah connection, Keith. That's
I just don't get it, But they had a big celebration for her, and I'm curious whether this is going to happen after every match she wins here. So,
yeah.
Sorry, Serena, for getting you wrong. I watched the movie, and by the way, very good movie. If you hadn't seen Will Smith's portrayal of King Richard before he
unceremoniously smacked.
Yeah, before he sadly slapped Chris Rock. But he did a great portrayal in this movie, and it's really a good watch. And you don't have to be a tennis fan to really appreciate it too. I think it could be any sport that a father drives his kids towards fame and fortune. I mean, it's a very interesting story.
That was the same with Tiger Woods' dad, right? I mean, he was
Same
all
kind
over
of thing,
Tiger.
Yeah. I remember Tiger Woods being on the Mike Douglas show when he was like 2 years old. Showing off his putting prowess. So shows how old I am, I guess, too. Mike Douglas. He's a Philadelphia guy, isn't he, Pags? He's gone now, but do you know the name Mike Douglas at all? Talk show host?
No.
I thought he did his show out of Philadelphia when he had a syndicated talk show.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the shows back in the day were done in Philadelphia. Before then, they started to go up to New York and L.A. Obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm talking about back in the days of like Donahue and those are names that you guys could remember, but I can't imagine many of our other listeners would.
Well, I look at my demographics, my people.
Yes.
And Dick Clark, of course, with the American Bandstand, we all know originated out of Philadelphia.
That is correct.
And
American Bandstand that eventually turned to Dancing on Air, and I had a couple of stints on.
Is there video of this?
I'm sure. You'd have to go back onto Dancing on Air. That's where everybody was just you'd be dancing to music, and they would show pictures of you, and I'm sure that at that time my afro was going pretty good.
And let's not forget about Wolfman Jack on the show he used to do. So
he did a one of the first coast to coast countdown shows, I think. Wolfman Jack, yeah.
So another legend.
Our trip back through time.
Yeah,
trip back through time.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I'm done. I don't have anything else. I've still got coffee all over my desk here. I got to figure out. But anything else you guys want to throw in before we wrap it up for today?
Yes. So the U.S. Yeah, I actually have something to say instead of nope. The U.S. women's hockey team comes back from a 2-0 deficit versus Canada to win and take the lead in the preliminary round, Group A. They win. They were down 2-0 in the first and come back to win 4-2 over the Canadians. So that's been going on right now. Obviously, we weren't. We haven't really mentioned it because it's better. Once they start to get to the bracket. Because right now they're still in the tournament. So it looks like right now the U.S. has got the number 1 spot. Canada's got the number 2 spot. And, over time, over the last 9 events, 9 times, Canada was 9-0. So this was a very big win for the U.S.
Miracle on Ice 2022. There you go.
Close.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Oh, also, by the way, WNBA semifinals continue tonight with Connecticut at Chicago, your local team there, Mac, and Seattle going to Vegas. Both those, as I said, Seattle leads their series 1-0. Connecticut leads their series 1-0 as well. So
what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
I'll still root for Sue Bird here. Sue Storm was the part of the Fantastic Four that hurt. So. So
Was she any relations to Larry Bird? I just throw it out.
no, she is not any relation to Larry Bird. No.
Okay.
But
She's the love child.
she might be young enough. She's 41. Maybe that would work. All right, guys. It's been an interesting hour. I apologize for my little faux pas here, but we'll be better tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. Keith Engel for Mac and Jamie. We'll catch you tomorrow on Start It Up right here on Northeast Streaming Sports on Roku Live. See you then.
Yes, sir.